Alright, what's going on, guys? So, it's the second time I've tried to shoot this video. This is definitely not a video I ever wanted to have to make. But, as I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen who follow me on Instagram, I had an accident in the convertible. And it was actually this past weekend on the way to Riverside, Riverside Chattanooga. And so I just kind of wanted to talk about what happened, what my plans are. I've actually got a list down here of things that I want to talk about. So I just kind of want to talk about what happened, what we're going to do about it, and then some just general discussion on Riverside in general and how it went. And so yeah, so what happened? So the route I drive from Meridian to Chattanooga is about 4.5 hours long. And about that last hour or so, spare for the last 20 minutes before you get into Chattanooga, the right-hand lane of the road, anybody who drives this route knows, and I'm pretty sure that's it's 59. It's the right lane of the road is just so bad. There's potholes, there's fillings, and if you're in a lowered or modified car at all, I mean, you're almost catching air over some of the fillings and potholes and things in the road. So what I was doing was I had decided to stay in the left lane, and because I didn't want cars to come up on me and force me over to the right-hand lane, I had my cruise control set at about 85 miles an hour, which I know that's kind of fast, but that's just what I did, and that's what about the other cars were going. So I was in a comfortable pace in the left-hand lane because I hate to stay in the left-hand lane, but that's what I was doing. So shortly after that section ends, and like I said, I'm probably about 20 minutes outside of Chattanooga, I'm coming up on a town in Georgia called Trenton. And my phone was actually about to die because the whole time I'd been using it for music. And I was surprised that the phone's battery only lasted like 4 hours, but you know. So in my car I have a cassette adapter, so I'd unplugged it from the cassette adapter, and I got my charger out of my glove box, plugged it into the cassette or the cigarette lighter, and I plugged in my phone, set it in the passenger seat. So when you plug my phone in the car, I can't put the phone in the sunglass tray, which is normally where I leave it. So I had to set the phone in the passenger seat. So you can kind of see how this is setting up a problem. So I looked down at my phone for just maybe half a second, just to see what my exit is. And this was after that section had ended. Like I said, I'm still cruising at 85 miles an hour, which maybe is a mistake, but I'd gotten back over into the right-hand lane because it was fine. Looked down at my phone for half a second, right near the Trenton exit, like I said. I looked back up after I knew what my exit was, and I see this slab of concrete. Looked like a piece of perhaps like an event barrier or barricade, you know, like that they would bring to an event to block off certain sections of event grounds or something like that. Like it had fallen off the back of a truck and broke into large pieces, and this was one of those large pieces. And it was probably 4 feet wide, maybe 7 or 8 inches tall. That's a couple 100-pound chunk of concrete. And I'm like 100 feet from it, going 85 miles an hour. So I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, my brain, I didn't even really think about it. My instinct was, well, I'm not hitting that, because if I hit that, I'm gonna total my car. So I was right by the Trenton exit, so my brain immediately says, okay, just shoot for the exit. So at 85 miles an hour with my cruise control set, I yank the steering wheel to the right and I completely lose control of the car. Did not expect that whatsoever, but the reason why was because I'd gotten so used to driving the car on those 200 treadwear tires that in my mind, I didn't remember that I just put the street tires that the contours were on the car. And on those 200 treadwears, I would have taken that all day, but no. Completely sideways. I'm talking like 70 degrees sideways at 85 miles an hour. So I'm headed straight for a guardrail, and I'll put up a picture of this exit here so you can kind of visualize what I'm saying. So imagine right where the exit begins, you see this treed section off to the right. I'm looking at it with you. There's a guardrail right there. So I'm shooting straight for that guardrail at 85 miles an hour. And I'm like, no, I'm not totaling this car right now. And you know, everyone says when you get into an accident, things happen in like slow motion. I mean, it happens so fast. For me, it felt like slow motion. So immediately I yanked the wheel back to the left, and by then I've hit the brakes. So cruise control is off. So I'm starting to slow down, but not really. So I yanked the wheel all the way full lock to the left to try to counter steer out of the slide and try to straighten the car out. But the car overcorrects back to the left, and at this point I'm pointed back into the interstate, which there's a big ditch in between there. So I know I'm gonna really damage the car going in the ditch, and I look over to my left, and in the interstate there's semi-trucks coming, 2 of them, of course. 2 semi-trucks coming in both lanes. So if I go back to the interstate, I'm going sideways right in front of 2 semi-trucks. So I'm like, oh my God. So by this point, I'm like, I don't have a choice. I'm crashing the car, but I need to do this in a manner that's going to save me and the car the best I can. So I full lock the wheel to the right, and like I said, this car has no angle, stock angle, so I mean, I'm doing whatever I can here. Full lock back to the right, and I'll put up a picture here. I actually looped the car twice. I barely dodged this first street sign you'll see towards the right of the picture. I mean, barely by like a foot. And remember, I'm doing 360 at this point on purpose. I was trying to rotate the car to stop it. When I go off the road, if you look closely, there's a big drop off where the concrete is at a much higher elevation than the grass off to the side. I am just dragging the frame rails, the side skirts, everything of the car on that ledge for a long period of time, which is actually probably a good thing, because that was probably helping slow the car down, because my brakes are as hard, I'm in the brakes as hard as I can, but I'm just sliding. The ABS is trying to help me, but it's not doing anything. So I do 2 360s and almost come up against this other street sign you'll see at the picture where the car is parked. And I did not hit either one of them, but if you look to the left in this picture of the car, you'll see that there is another chunk of concrete, which is obviously probably from that same truck or whatever dropped the other concrete, that I nailed with the side skirt of the car. And it sucks because it's probably only going 15 miles an hour. It was right at the end of the crash when I hit that. As soon as I hit it, or just after I hit it, I'm looking over to the right, and I see the passenger door panel airbag go off. And when it goes off, I mean, it makes my ears ring. I don't know if you guys have ever been in a car where an airbag has gone off. They are so loud, especially if you're not like, if it doesn't happen while you're getting like hit by a car or something, and so everything else is kind of quiet. When one of those goes off, man, holy crap, it like made my ears ring. So yeah, I nailed the side skirt, caved in a bit of the rocker panel, door panel airbag goes off, and then the car comes to a stop, and hazards come on. Grass is everywhere, the windows were down, so grass is just everywhere in the car. I mean, it's all over me. I'm looking over at the airbag, there's dust from the airbag. Like I said, the hazards come on, all the doors unlock. I look over, and like the door handle trim is in the passenger seat, and there's pieces of the door panel and trim broken all inside the passenger seat. And I'm just like, man. I got pretty emotional and I got pretty upset, which, you know, kind of looking back, it seems silly because it's like, wow, that was the best possible outcome. I missed both of those signs. I missed the gigantic first piece of concrete. I missed the guardrail. I missed going back into the interstate, but it's just like, it was in that moment, it was like I crashed my dream build on the way to my dream show that I was going to be at the dream booth at, my boy Dustin's Okie Doke booth. And it was a lot, man. It was my first car accident too that I've ever been in. And let me tell you, I drive a lot. In the past 5 years or so, 6 years I've been like driving with a license, I've probably put 250,000 miles or more on the cars I've driven. So it was tough, man, and I was just panicking. And I called my parents, panicking on the phone. I just wanted to go home. I didn't know anything about the car's mechanical. I didn't know if it was okay. I mean, I thought it was, but, and some people stopped, and like, I don't know if, I doubt those people will ever see it. A couple of them were guys that I know were going to the show, because one of them was stopped in a slammed Miata, and they're just trying to calm me down and encourage me and tell me, you know, hey, I've had accidents before too, and like, it was amazing. The more people I talked to, the more people that were like, yeah, I've written off multiple cars that I've loved before, and like, I've yet to do that. And it's just, the fact that the car is still here, that I'm still here, because, I mean, if I'd gone down that guardrail, there was like a 60-foot drop off on the other side of that, and I was headed for it sideways, so guarantee you the car would have just rolled. And I'm in a convertible. No, the outcome of it, it's a miracle. And besides just those people that stopped, I mean, all the people online after I made it public what had happened were just so kind and had so much encouragement to give me. And I really just got a kind of a stark reminder that, you know, like, we all love these cars and things, but like, we are very fragile. And it was just so many more people were so much more concerned about me, not even just my physical health, but mental health. And it just was, that was very refreshing to see that more people were concerned about the car than that. But yeah, so I kind of just wanted to say that and say what happened, just to say it can happen in an instant, and that the biggest lesson I can probably take away from this is that at all times you need to be alert, like focused on the road, because it's always going to happen in that instant that you're not paying attention. So that's what happened. So I kind of, you know, move things a little bit more of a positive note. Let's talk about what we're gonna do to fix it. So the car is totally salvageable. It's really, really dirty, but starting from the inside out, I'm gonna take the door panel off. I've got a new airbag. I've got a new airbag module. I've got a new side airbag impact sensor, which is the 3 things I think I need to replace in order to get the airbag system back operational. So I'm gonna replace all that. The panel and the door panel, I'd love to get a new door panel, but they're $1,400, and I'm telling you right now that I even if that door panel is never perfect again, I'm going to try to glue the cover back over onto the door panel. I think it'll be fine. Should look fine, and the airbag, if God forbid anything ever happens again, should be able to push through it. So I'm gonna do that. The inside should be back better than ever too. I got a new door handle trim as well as the little airbag logo. Got that on the way. As far as the exterior, the car is not going to a body shop. I'm gonna tell you that right now. That car is not leaving my garage. I've got a friend of mine who's actually gonna come. We're gonna pull the rocker panel back out on our own. I'm gonna pull the side skirts off, obviously. We're gonna pull the rocker panel back out the best that we can. I'm gonna mask off the rest of the car. I'm gonna get a can of paint mixed up that's BMW Schwarz too. And because that's under the side skirt, I see no reason to take that to a body shop and spend $2,000 to get it resprayed in base coat only, which is just silly. So after we pull it out with a dent puller, I'm gonna respray that myself. Should be good to go, better than ever. I've got M3 side skirts, OEM M3 side skirts that are gonna be repainted. But because I can't just, if you know me, you know I'm not the type to just have a car stay the same, especially if something bad happens. It's got to come back better. So I've decided I'm going to pull the hood off the car, the nose panel, and the front bumper as well. And while we're doing paint work, I figure I might as well get those resprayed. Chase at Insane Paint Auto Detailing is going to be putting PPF over all those parts too, including the side skirts. So those will be locked in, good to go, which is something I've wanted forever. So I'm super excited about that. I'm going to be getting a DTM Fiberworks carbon fiber OEM style front lip for the front bumper. I've got side skirt extensions that I've had forever that are finally going to go on now because I've got a good reason to pull the side skirts off. And yeah, so cool little upgrades, as well as maybe potentially a wheel and tire setup you've probably been hearing me talk about that I may or may not have all of them in my possession. So that should be pretty exciting. And kind of the last thing I want to talk about is I just want to say how much I loved Riverside and how good that show was to be at. Like, there was a point at which I almost decided to go home, and I'm so glad I didn't. And I just have to give a massive shout out to all my friends, from Chris big time, because Chris was with me the whole weekend, and like we had some crazy adventures together, but like Chris just sticking by me the whole time, keeping me laughing, keeping me smiling. Landon Hammett, Go Ham Media, dude, for freaking getting me up out of bed Saturday morning for the show when I was just wanting to sit in there and be depressed and sad about, oh, the car is broken, I crashed my car. And he actually got me up out of bed, so shout out to you, Landon. Shout out to Dustin and Cheese and Barry and Joey and all the other homies who helped, and Chili and Liam and Aiden. Shout out to all of you for freaking making my weekend so good. And instead of coming out of the weekend just sad and depressed that bad stuff had happened to me, I came out of it, I don't want to say positive because it was a really negative experience, but more neutral and more like, okay, the good and the bad balanced out here. We're okay, things are fine, and let's figure out a way to get this situation resolved. So I just want to say a big thank you to those guys, because without them I would have been in a bad place. And hanging out with them and having that weekend with them was just so good, and the cars were great, people were great, and yeah, I'll be back every year for that show, but probably on a trailer next year because I don't think I can handle doing that twice. And then the last thing I want to say, and this is just something I don't hear a lot of people saying, but I think it's an important point that we should talk about. So I know if you know Riverside, you know a lot of people talk about the Riverside curse. And guilty. I'm guilty, because the first thing I posted when I posted up that picture, as I said, is this the Riverside curse? And I don't really think that that's fair to the show, the organizers or the people that put it on, to put that onto the show. And as a matter of fact, something I want to get you guys to think about is, I fully believe that the more you speak something out like that, the more you begin to create and give life to an atmosphere that breeds that negativity. And what I'm trying to say is, the more people that say, oh, there's a Riverside curse, look at all this bad stuff that happens to people on the way to Riverside, and like, the more it's probably going to keep on happening. Like, what you speak out and what you put out into the atmosphere, it's what it becomes. I don't think a lot of people know that about life in general, but what you speak is what becomes reality. And so I would just encourage people to stop saying that. Stop talking about the Riverside curse and stop giving life to it, because the more that you do, the more it's going to keep on happening. So no, this was not the Riverside curse. As a matter of fact, this was a miracle. This was a blessing that it gave me an opportunity to save the car, to get to interact with so many good people who were so kind to me because of it. It's giving me a chance to make the car better. This was not because of some curse. This was just an accident, and it's a part of life, honestly. So yeah, just bear that in mind when you talk about that. And I'm starting to lose my voice again. I've only just got it back after Riverside, so I'm gonna stop talking here. I need a glass of water bad, but anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this. I know this was a bit of a boring video to watch, but I just kind of wanted to talk about what had happened. And hopefully next year I can see more of you guys out there. The car will be much more interesting next year anyways. So keep your heads up. Remember, you're so much more than good enough. I'm so thankful for all of you guys being here. I'm immensely grateful and blessed to have a family that prays for me. And to have my guardian angels watching over me, because man, what happened, I don't really want to talk about it that much, but I really did think that for a couple of split seconds there in the middle of that accident that it might have been it. There was a moment where I was pointed at that guardrail, and I thought that might have been it. I thought that I was about to go over that guardrail, flip, and that was it. So yeah, I just want to express extreme gratitude for my family and for God for watching over me in that situation. So anyways, I love you guys. Thank you again for so much for watching. There's exciting content coming soon. It's probably going to be a month or two. I'd say a month or two. About a month. I've got to finish school, and I'm not doing any car work until school's over because I want to graduate soon, and I want to get my finals all with A's. So probably expect content to resume the second week in May. Middle of the second week in May, we'll be back, and we are going so hard this summer. First thing is to get the M3 up and going, and after that, it is the vert. And then we'll go back to the M3, get a drift ready, and the Subaru's gonna have a little spotlight on the channel. So anyways, I hope you guys are excited, and yeah, well, peace out. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time.
Last century.